Good morning. My name is Terry Heiser Haynes, and I'm Business Service Supervisor for Lassen, Modoc, Plumas, and Sierra Counties for Alliance for Workforce Development. Let's begin this webinar, Layoff Assistance for Rapid Response for those unemployed or underemployed, with an emphasis on the reflection of the COVID-19 in your area. I'd like to go over some features before we begin. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can select the Q&A feature or the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. That will allow you to pose any questions you might have. We will be allowing time after each panelist presentation to present questions pertaining to their expertise, and we will make sure that all questions are answered for each individual by the end of this webinar. Additionally, I want to just say, if you raise your hand, you still need to type in the question in the Q&A or in the chat, because we can't answer just a raised hand. So with that, I'd like to move on to our agenda, our location. So your local rapid response team is Stacy Snow. She is located at 701 North Main Street, Suite F. You can reach Stacy at 233-4161. And additional ways to contact us is to email covid19customer@ncen.org. EDD will be presenting benefits and programs available, and we have on our panelists today Perry Brewstad that will be going over all of the various forms and explaining in depth the eligibility for those. We also have Jennifer Potap from Potap, Potap from Modoc County Social Services that will go over the various programs available for Modoc County residents. Stacy Snow, our resource coordinator, will go over some financial tips along with our employment and training services that are available and some special funding that we have available in our AFWD offices. We will be doing a poll at the end of this webinar, and I encourage everyone to take it. It is going to provide us with information on how to better serve our communities, and we'll be happy to get all the resources from this webinar to you. You will have a reminder email that will come up that will have a link to all of the resources that we have. So with that, I would like to introduce Perry Brewstad to talk to us about the Employment Development Department's programs.
So good morning, everyone. Happy post-Mother's Day. Today we're going to talk a little bit about an overview for filing for unemployment. On the screen in front of you, you see the Employment Development. It's their overall book on unemployment. Down in the lower corner, it has a DE number. It's a DE 2320. This booklet, I think, will be attached, so you have a link at the end of this when you get the PowerPoint. But also, if you were to put it into your Google search line, the DE form, it would come up for you. So you can read the general overview of what unemployment was pre-pandemic. So those are the base rules. So that book is available. So let's go to the next slide. How to file. When you're going to file for unemployment, there's three ways. There's online with the benefit program online account, by phone, and by paper. So when you file online, we're going to go into that a little bit more in depth as we move through the slideshow. When you file by phone, it's through an automated system. And as you can see, the number is on there. It gives you 800-300-5616. And it tells you the options to select. 1 for English, 2 for Spanish. As you go through, if you let the language options move ahead, there are other language options as well. You have to listen to the prompts, listen to the information before you can move to the next prompts, but the prompts are 1, 3, 2, and 6. There's also by paper. Now, if you're filing for federal, if you're a federal employee filing for unemployment, you do have to use a paper form. When you do your online portion, it will stop when you say you're federal, and it will download a form for you to fill out that has to be printed and faxed. If you've worked in another state, in addition to California, it's called a split claim. That will also generate a form to be downloaded, and then you will fill it out, and it is also a faxed form. Right now, use the online option if you can. There's so much going on with unemployment online. Once you do it, it's completed, it's on unemployment site, and it's available. So that's what we're going to recommend right now. And of course, if you have to do the paper forms, getting them done as fast as soon as you can. Phone has been very impacted. So let's move ahead to the next slide and talk about Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. Unemployment is accepting applications. The process is the same. You fill out the same application online, whether you're filing for regular unemployment or pandemic unemployment assistance. So that makes it very easy. It's one access and one form. Where it delineates is in the specific questions. That's how it defines whether it's regular unemployment or pandemic unemployment. So let's go ahead. We'll talk about this more. So if you are self-employed, an independent contractor, or someone who may otherwise qualify for pandemic unemployment assistance, and you already filed for unemployment before April 28th, and you're waiting, or you received something that said you have 0 benefits available, you have to refile after April 28th. We're well into May now, so many people may have done this. But if you're one of those people who filed and are waiting to hear, and you're self-employed or an independent contractor, you need to go ahead and refile a claim, because that other claim won't be processed. You don't have to call and cancel that initial claim. You don't have to do anything with it because there were no benefits available on it. So you have to refile after the 28th with a new claim. Remember, you don't have to cancel the pre-existing claim, and this is only for unemployed 1099, or excuse me, self-employed 1099 employees, independent contractors. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you've done that. UI Online, or Benefit Program Online, we refer to it both ways, is the Employment Development Department's application portal for both the regular unemployment and the pandemic unemployment. All applicants will be asked the same basic questions, including about employment history, earnings information, along with some new questions needed, excuse me, to determine whether it's pandemic unemployment assistance eligibility. So based on the responses, as well as the wage information reported to the Employment Development Department, and I'm going to refer to Employment Development Department as EDD, they will determine if your claim is processed as regular unemployment or pandemic unemployment. And that's an internal process that will happen. Another thing that's happened for anybody that's been on unemployment previous to the pandemic is there was always a 7-week period, 7-day period that was called the waiting period. That's been waived during this time. So it should be processed from the date filed. So you'll probably have questions. So please, at the end of this, or write your questions down. We'll be happy to address them. So let's go to the next slide. When you go to file your unemployment claim online, you're going to need some specific information. And before you get into that information, this is really important. When you go to fill out your online claim, to the left of each question is a red asterisk. You only have to fill out the information with the red asterisk. And this is important because there is a space under your employment history that asks for quarterly wages. That's grayed out. It doesn't have a red asterisk. You do not have to answer that. And that saves a tremendous amount of time. So it's important to know that. If you go to move from screen to screen and you can't move from a screen, go back and look. There will be an exclamation mark to the right of the question telling you this was in the wrong format or we need different information here. So it helps you to be correct in your filing. So that being said, the information you're going to need when you sit down to file, of course, your name, your birth date, your full mailing address, your social security number. And if you're not a citizen, you're going to need the employment authorization document. There is a number on there that has to be added. It's going to ask you employment history in the last 18 months. And so if you had employers, if you were an employee and you had employers, you list the most recent first and work backwards for the last 18 months. If you're self-employed, then you will have your own information in there, and then it will be delineated further in the question. So let's go to the next slide. When you go to file your claim, so we talked about what we needed, we talked about the ways to file. So right now we're going to go into the computer and we're going to go to Benefit Program Online. That's the easiest way to access it. That's how I recommend we access it. It will pull up a link. It'll say Benefit Program Online, and right above it, it will say edd.ca.gov. When you click it, it will take you into the site. So you can also access it through the edd.ca.gov/BPO. So there's several ways to get to the same site. You have to accept the terms and conditions to continue. Then from there, you're going to you're going to have a personal email used only by you, and you're going to create a password. So you're going to register. So when you go to the site, there'll be a place to add your email and so forth. Don't go there unless you've already had an account previously. Be sure you go to register and then set up your registration. So when you go into register and you use an email, it's important to remember that if you're using someone else's email, they will never be able to use that email to file for their own unemployment or disability. So if you don't have an email, create an email for yourself and make sure it's specific to you. So once you do your email, you'll enter your email, you'll do the CAPTCHA. It's a little picture game. You do some identification that you're not a computer, and then it will take you to creating your password. Your password has to be very specific, which is a bit standardized in today's world, and it will tell you it has to have a capital letter, a number, a symbol, and be at least 8 characters long. Once you create that password, I can't emphasize enough, write it down, put it somewhere. 2 years from now, you might be having an elective surgery, having a baby, doing a paid family leave claim. It's the same password and same email. So write it down and keep it. Put it in a safe place, okay? So once you've done that process, then you'll answer security questions. You'll pick security questions that you answer. I recommend once you fill those all in, you take a picture of that or write them down. Because if you do forget your password, then it's going to prompt you when you go to reset to answer these security questions. So that's the only way to reset your password. So you want to make sure you've got a record of that somewhere, okay? Now, once you do all that part and you go next, the screen will close, and it's going to send an email to your email that you gave them, and you open that link, and that's completed your registration. So from there, you can either continue on your phone or wherever you opened the link on your computer with the process of application. And then from then on out, you'll just go back in where it says email and password on benefit program, and you'll be right in. So it's a really convenient and handy way. Plus, once you get your unemployment claim submitted, and if you're approved, you'll receive an account number that you'll go back in with your email, your password, add that account number, and now you have your account set up with unemployment. You can see how much money's in there. You have a record of when you certify for benefits, which we'll talk about. You'll have a record of everything. And so it's a really great account once you get it set up. Let's go to the next slide here. So now we know how to file our claim. We filed our claim. Once you submit that claim electronically, and I'm going to stop right here. So you filled out your claim online, you hit submit, it brings up another page. That next page has a confirmation number. You want to make sure you get that confirmation number, because if there was a computer glitch or something happened, that's your tracking for your claim. So print that page, scroll down, take a picture of that, write it down. So that confirmation number is important so that if anything goes on, you have record there. So once that's submitted, Then you've got up to 3 weeks, and 3 weeks means 15 business days. So that's what the average time has been to process a claim right now. And so once submitted, it can take up to 3 weeks to process your claim and receive payment from the Employment Development Department. And to receive payment, you do what's called certify for benefits every 2 weeks. You'll receive multiple letters and notices from the Employment Development Department regarding the claim that you filed, a notice that you filed the claim. You'll get a notice that you were awarded or denied, and you'll get a notice about Cal Jobs, which we'll talk about Cal Jobs. If your unemployment benefit certification form has dates for weeks ending March 14th through May 19th, which were already passed, and I'm bringing this up for the people who have gone through this that are on unemployment, those weeks automatically certified. So if you had wages or earned money during that time, you have to report it. And if you do, when we get to the question and answer section, ask me about that. If you had wages during that time, and I'll tell you how to report that. You didn't have to certify during those 2 weeks, but many people work part-time. So I just want to bring the questions up at the end. So for those weeks, that means that you will automatically receive your benefit payments unless you have an existing disqualification or a pending issue. You will be required to provide information to the Employment Development Department if you work during those weeks. The failure to provide the department with information that you worked during those 2 weeks can result in an overpayment. That's someplace you never want to get, is in the overpayment world of unemployment. So as I said, there is a process to report your work during that time, and we will go over that during the question and answer. When you use your online account and you certify for benefits online, you get paid faster. So certifying means there will be a little button on the page at the end of the 2-week period, and you'll click on it. It'll open again, you click on it, and you're going to answer questions. Were you too sick to work? Did you look for work? Was there any reason you couldn't work? Did you begin attending school or training? And did you work or earn any money? So these questions are how you communicate with unemployment about what's going on with you while you're filing for unemployment. And those are like submitting that's how your payment is stimulated when you send in a certification for benefits, okay? And there's email reminders on your UI online, which is really helpful because you'll get emails to remind you to certify. System works very nicely. If you're eligible for pandemic unemployment assistance, you will receive the payments on an EDD debit card. So once you file your claim, once you've been approved, once you're certified for benefits, that initial certification will stimulate the Bank of America closed door division, and this is important, it's a closed door division. You can't go into the Bank of America and take care of it. They will issue you a cash card. Unemployment puts the money on that card, and then that card will come to you. And we'll show a little bit more about the card, but you can activate the card in an EDD, or you can set up an online account with that debit card. So that's the initial setup. There's a lot up front, but once it's done and it's rolling every 2 weeks, it goes very smoothly. So when the payments are on that card, once you've got your initial card, and every 2 weeks when you certify, usually the money goes on your card within 48 to 72 hours. Sometimes when it's not as busy, it can be as little as 24 hours. Once you have the bank card, you can also, there's a phone number on the back, and you can transfer the money to your bank account and set it for it to go into your bank account through that application. So the website, as you can see, well, maybe you can't see it. So let's go here. The website for the Bank of America card, when you get it, it's on the back. It'll give you information how to set it up. But the phone number for that card, I want to give it to you. So if for some reason you're not receiving it timely, it's 866-692-9374. And there is a website It's prepaid.bankofamerica, all one word, .com/EDD card. There's more, but that will get you to the right place. So that's a lot of information, but we'll do a summation here at the end. So basically, you're going to set up an account, you're going to file a claim, you're going to wait the 15 business days, you're going to get a notification, you're going to certify for benefits, and then once you're paid, it will stimulate the bank card to come to you and your monies will be on there. And then you will certify every 2 weeks for the duration of your claim, to put it in a nutshell, so we kind of have a timeline there. One of the requirements, once all this is in place, is, let's go to the next slide, please. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. One of the requirements when all of this is in place is that you have an account and a resume set up with CalJobs. So CalJobs is the state job exchange, and many of you already have CalJobs accounts. And if you don't, you'll go into caljobs.gov and you'll register, and then you'll add a resume. You can upload a resume, but there's an electronic resume wizard involved with that, and you have to fill out parts of that electronic section because that's how employers can find things. So it's an electronic job search. It's a wonderful site. Even if you're not on unemployment, I'd recommend you take a look at it. You can look at jobs all over California. Employers can find you if you're looking at changing careers. It's a wonderful site. So there's another program here. This is another part of unemployment. So we've got our account set up, we've got our CalJobs, we know about that. If you decided to go back to school or into a training program, unemployment has a program called the California Training Benefit. And the California Training Benefit may pay extended unemployment benefits if you're going into a field to improve your opportunity to work. So this is all on the website, and I'm not going to go into it in depth because it's involved, but what I will tell you is if you do go back to school and you decide to, when you're certifying for benefits, it'll say, did you begin attending school or training? And you'll mark that. That will trigger unemployment to send you a packet on the California Training Benefit. You can also call unemployment if you're thinking about going to school at the 1-800-300-5616 and let them know that you're interested. You want your account, what they call flagged, in case in the future you decide to do it. There's criteria. The California Training Benefit, you have to be before your 16th week of unemployment to qualify. And so there's a lot to it, but you can read all about it on the edd.ca.gov website. So I will leave you to that. One other thing, if you do do the California Training Benefit or you're interested in it, remember, unemployment doesn't pay for books or school or training. That goes through many of our partner agencies, but it may extend your unemployment. And so it's something to consider. So let's move on to the next slide. Veteran services are available, I think, in all communities. There are veteran services for disabled veterans, low-income veterans seeking job services. There's local veteran services officers at the Veteran Service Office. The Employment Development Department has disabled veteran outreach professionals that help disabled veterans or low-income veterans seeking work, with a myriad of veteran services in our community. So if you have questions, you can call. It's also on the website, but it's really good to know that that's available and there for our veterans. These are, let's go to the next slide, please. So these are some of the links for the employment development benefits, which you can see. The main link we recommend is the first one, edd.ca.gov. Once you get in there, you can find out almost anything you want to know. There are also videos on YouTube made by the Employment Development Department that help you see how to file a claim, or if you have questions. There's also video links on the edd.ca.gov website that are really helpful. So please remember that that's available. There's also a lot of information on the coronavirus, so that's important to know. When you go on to the edd.ca.gov website, there's a big picture right in the middle that says COVID virus, and you could go into that, and that will give you a lot of the information and answer many of the questions that you're having right now. It's updated on a regular basis. So thank you for your time, and I would be happy to answer questions when it's opened up to questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Perry. We do have a couple questions. The first question is, do I have to look for work, especially if I'm just waiting to go back to my previous job?
At this point in time, no. Where it says, are you available to work or are you looking for work? The answer can be no, because of the virus, people can't go back to work. In a normal world, you would have to be looking for work if you were on unemployment. It's a requirement. So right now, the answer is no.
Okay. And I don't see any questions at this time. You can pose those and we will go back through any questions that come up. Oh, I'm sorry, there is one. It says, I've applied for UI and should have applied for PUA. I received a certification paper and online and filled it out and sent it. It was for weeks ending 4/4 through 4/11. I received an online zero claim and excessive wages. I have received nothing else from EDD since. You said to refile for PUA, or have I done it wrong or done something wrong?
Well, now that's a big question. And that's a question I would refer you to unemployment, because they would need to pull up your account for you and see what you have filed and what's on there. Are you self-employed would be my question. Is this person self-employed? That's a question. I would refer them to call unemployment.
They are. Okay, sorry.
They are self-employed?
Yes, self-employed.
Mm-hmm. So if they filed self-employed before April 28th, they would have to refile.
Okay.
And there's new questions on the filing. If they received something that said 000, that would probably be optimal. But if they had wages in a base period, it gets complicated there. And I would really like them to speak directly to unemployment. So in Modoc County, I think Reading is the closest employment development department. I think that's correct. I think you're our area. I'll give you that number. It's 225-2185, option 3. They can transfer you to unemployment. Then the phone number has been overwhelmed, and so it might say you can't get through, it's not in service. It was never meant to be a call line, but we're trying diligently to help people get through to unemployment, especially where you have specific issues like that. So go ahead and give them a call. The best time is between 8 and 9 in the morning, because our direct line to unemployment, we can't get through sometimes. But there's an option for you, and I think that's your best option right now, because that's something unemployment needs to address with you, so they can take a look at your account and see what's going on.
Okay, and one more comment on that question is, I have 0 wages, so should I just apply for PUA?
Well, that would be my recommendation, is to reapply. But you said if you had employment from an employer in the last 18 months without being able to see your claim, so difficult to answer the questions, you can go ahead and file for PUA. But I can't see what's going on with you, so it's really difficult for me to give you a really accurate answer here.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And again, if there are questions that come up through the rest of this webinar, please put them either in chat or the question and answers, and we will have another time at the end of our presentation to address any questions that come up for everyone. So we are going to move on, and I would like to introduce Jennifer Potap from Modoc County Social Services Department, and she is going to share the services available for Modoc County residents that the social services has. Jennifer?
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so we have some programs, CalWorks, CalFresh, General Assistance, Medi-Cal. So CalWorks is a cash and food assistance program for families with children. And then the food stamp program, which is CalFresh. And then there's a general assistance program, which is a short-term loan designed by the county. It would be 3 months that you could apply for the cash assistance. You can apply online at See For Yourself or in person. Our offices aren't open, but we do have an application box outside the door with a drop box right next to it.
Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. I do have a question that came up this weekend that I was hoping we could get some clarification on. So the pandemic electronic benefits transfer for children that are on free and reduced lunches, does an adult or does the adult caregiver have to apply for those benefits?
Those are automatically issued through the state. So what that is if you are receiving benefits from the school for the free or reduced lunch program, and it has been, because like when the school lunches put it in, it'll put free or reduced, and a lot of the time it'll have your case number. It should automatically get a card for your child for those reduced lunches or for the meals.
Okay, thank you. Do we
You're
have
welcome.
any more questions for Jennifer? Okay, seeing none at this time, again, you're more than welcome to pose those questions and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So I wanted to go over additional assistance that is available in Modoc County is your Pacific Power Company. They have temporarily suspended late payment fees and disconnects for non-payment. And the best thing that you could do is just contact Pacific Power and talk to them about your situation and see what type of arrangements that you can have made. And then another resource in Modoc County is the Training, Employment, and Community Help Incorporated program, which is TEACH. They offer assistance with low income home energy assistance programs. There's food banks, there's parenting support, and there's senior services. I want to encourage everyone to visit the link that you were provided in your reminder email and in our follow-up email. That you will be able to access all of the resource information, this PowerPoint, and we do have a very inclusive list of the resources that Modoc County has. So Stacy Snow, can you share with us the financial tips and some reminders, please?
Good morning, everyone. Some financial tips and reminders. First on our list is unemployment or pandemic unemployment assistance benefits, which are available through EDD. And Perry went over the process for applying for both of those previously, which was very helpful. You can also apply for county social service benefits, which Jennifer just spoke about, either through See For Yourself or through a paper application at our office here in Modoc County. The stimulus payment. If you haven't received that yet, you can check on the IRS website at Get My Payment and find out your status, or put in your bank account information. And then regarding if you have a retirement account and you're needing to pull some money from that, the early withdrawal penalty is being waived now due to COVID-19. So that's another useful thing at this point. Student loan repayments have also been suspended for 180 days. You can contact your provider for details on that if you have any questions. Some mortgage companies are also suspending payments. And as we spoke of previously, some utility companies as well are also suspending late fees and disconnections during this time. Next slide. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what we do here in Modoc County with Alliance for Workforce Development. We're a nonprofit corporation, and we have one office here in Modoc County in Alturas. We're located in the Bear Creek Mall in the old Quiznos building for those that have been around for a while. We offer a variety of services here, which we'll get into a little bit later. And we are part of the NORTEC Consortium, which is 11 Northern California counties. Next slide, please. So these are just some of the services that we offer here. We try to work with each person as an individual. Everyone has different needs and are in different places in life. So we offer all of the services listed here to help you wherever you're at and help you get to where you want to go. We've got the Resource Center here with a computer lab, and we can work with you to do some testing to see if a career path, help you determine that career path. We also offer job readiness workshops and pre-employment testing. As you can see, there's a whole list of different services that we provide. And the best thing I could say with that is wherever you're at, if you want to talk, just give me a call and we'll figure out what would be the best way to help you. Next slide, please. And then we have two new special programs to help, and they're COVID-19 relief programs. These are both brand new. There's limited availability and funding, so we're really encouraging people, if you need supportive service assistance with things like, you may be waiting to get back to work, or maybe your job, you need to search for a job. There's some items that we can help you with. And there's two levels of eligibility. You could be eligible for either $400 or up to $800 of assistance. And so it ranges from items like work attire to helping you pay your rent, just to help you get through this right now, to support you until you can get back to work. And then the other program is the temporary work program, which is offering some temporary placements. And again, both of these are limited, so we really encourage people, please, again, give me a call and let's talk and see if either of these would be a good fit for you, possibly even both. Next slide, please. And then a little more on that work experience or temporary work placement. In addition to bringing in some income for you, that also can often provide some new skills, or to maybe improve skills that you already have. And these are 100% paid work experiences, so that the funding we have pays for that. And it's just a great way, kind of a bridge during a time when you're looking for permanent employment. This can be a great stepping stone for you. Next slide, please. And then other programs, training programs we have is on the job training program, where our staff works with employers on a regular basis, building relationships and learning what their recruitment needs are, and then working with our job seekers to match up. And on the job training program, we're able to fund a portion of your training costs when you begin employment, which is, it helps both the new employee and the employer during that time when you're learning your job and you're not quite as productive. We support both during that time period. And sometimes, you know, it gives someone a chance that maybe normally wouldn't have been the first choice for that position, but with the added extra training that the employer is able to give through the program, it can help someone get a position that way. Next slide. And then another training assistance that we offer is for people in going to either public or private training institutions, any kind of schooling that has a credentialed program, we can help with the cost of that, with possibly tuition, books, uniforms, just different things that are going to support you during your training. And next slide. Where are we at the?
Thank you, Stacy. So that concludes our presentation for some of the services that we have available at Alliance for Workforce Development there in Alturas. Please contact our office with any questions you may have, and we'll be happy to provide you with services and answers and resources and those various things. I just launched a poll that you all should have received, and please, again, I'd like to encourage you to complete it for us so that we know where to meet the residents in Modoc County, the various things that you may be requesting assistance with. I'd also like to go over some of the links on ways to be able to contact us. You can contact us by phone or visit our local office. We have Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. We'd love for you to follow us on and like us there. We have chat, which is available 24/7. It's www.afdwd.org. And then, of course, we have our COVID-19 customer at ncen.org. Email that we're happy to respond to you with. For the job seekers and the business community, we have a site called Nortec Jobs, and this is where our local positions are posted for our 11 county consortium. When Stacy gets recruitments from the business community, we put them on this site so that it's easy for anyone to navigate through and look for positions that are in Modoc County or specific positions that they might be looking for. And then with that, we also do recruitments, customized recruitments. We have a hot job board that we have in our office locally, and then we send out to our interested database, our partner agencies, so they get the jobs that we're posting in the communities too, to help get the word out there, so the networking is broadcast farther. So with that, I do have a couple questions or a couple other things I'd like to go through. All of the handouts and resources will be emailed to the participants following this webinar. And I do have someone that says they're not able to do the poll. Is there anyone else that is experiencing a problem accessing the poll? Okay, I will resend the poll right now if I can. There we go. No. Well, I apologize. It seems like there is some issues with the poll right now. We will send those to everyone once I can get this reset. and then ask you again to please complete it. There's a glitch, and unfortunately that's past my my understanding. Won't be able to, oh, I'm sorry, it says panelists will not be able to access the polls. So I'm learning. I appreciate that. So with that said, I appreciate you tuning into this webinar. And again, please reach out to Stacy if you have any questions. She can be reached at 233-4161. Thank you, and everyone have a great day.